My dear brothers and sisters, may the peace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you both now and forever. Today, I like to lay down some few things for, I should call it points for reflection. The first one is that Jesus arrived in Bethsaida. This miracle that we are reading about today took place in Bethsaida. Let us remember, as Jesus arrived in Bethsaida, they brought to him a man who was blind. The few points I like us to take as points for reflection. Number one is the fact that it is Jesus who comes to us. Sometimes you may think you're the one going to Jesus, but even the grace that you have received to go to Jesus is a gift also from God. So, number one, Jesus comes to us. He comes to our situation. He comes to our level because he understands us. I listened to the homily of Archbishop Palmer one time when he said that when you become a celebrity, one of the ways you show your humility is to be the one to go to the people because the people may be afraid to come to you. So Jesus is the one who went to the people. That's first one. Second point for reflection is the fact that it was the people who brought the blind man to Jesus. I remember also the bishop in Bohol, Bishop Albert Uy. I don't know if I pronounced that very well, but he said that you get to know who your true friend is if that person brings you to Jesus. So, we also have to be this kind of good friends who bring our brothers and sisters, who bring our friends to a place where they will receive salvation, a place where they will receive upliftment. Not bringing them to the house for gossip or the house for rumors or the house for condemnation. Rather, we choose to bring our friends, our brothers and sisters, to a place where they will receive that elevation, a place where they will be appreciated, a place where they will, their life will be made to become better. So that's what we should do. And this is not just about praying for one another. Yeah, praying for one another, is one of the ways we can bring people to God. But even by doing good things to them, showing people acts of kindness, generosity, compassion, mercy, love, care. These are the ways we bring people to God because doing good, doing beautiful things are the ways that we show we make the presence of God manifest in the lives of other people. The third point for reflection is the facticity of the process, the reality of process. If you look at the healing of this man, you will see that the first time Jesus touched him, then he asked him, "What can you see?" He said he can see, people moving like trees. Yeah, people will move like trees. When we have this kind of blindness that we cannot see in the other person the image of God. So, the point I like us to really focus here on is the point about the process. The first one, he said, I could see people moving like trees. The second one, the Bible tells us that he could see very clearly. Life is a process, okay? Life is a process, but sometimes most of us are thinking that our life is like French fries, it's like noodles, it's like fast food. No, life is a process. This is also one of the mistakes that many young people do. When you get into a relationship, you're thinking that relationship will suddenly become successful. No, success does not come just in a twinkle of an eye. It's a process. Relationships, they need process. They need stage by stage. Families, love, profession, vocation. There are so many things. Life itself is by stage. Life is a process. So when you get into business, for instance, do not have that kind of inordinate expectation that you put 5,000, then you're going to get 10,000 just immediately. No, it is stage by stage. Also, when you speak to your husband or your wife, do not expect them to be transformed instantly. No, that's not how miracle works. It will look like it's magic. So, process is very important. That our God is a God of process. It's not as if Jesus could not have healed this man once, but he took his time to heal this man first. He took him by the side, which is also very important to remember that when you want to receive healing from God, you have to be alone with God. Solitude is very important for deliverance for healing and for integral well-being. That's another point I almost forgot. But apart from that, let's just talk about this process. So calm down, be patient, okay? Be patient with the process and look at the bigger picture. Even in relationships and in the things you find yourself in, just calm down, be patient with the process, look at the bigger picture, let your sight in view, let your concept, let your focus on the bigger picture sustain you. Let your focus on the bigger picture of what is happening to you now become a source for resilience for you. So that as you look at the bigger picture, even if the particular things, the immediate things are not working as you expected them to work, but you still believe that the bigger picture will make more meaning than even the particulars and the aspects of this bigger picture. So life is a process. I gave example today to my friends, though where I celebrated Mass. I said to them, God could have created the world in a twinkle of an eye, but why did he decide to create the world, in 6 days? It is also very didactic to teach us that life is stage by stage. So if things you're doing now, if they are not working, be patient, calm down, be diligent, be contented with the present so that the future can be better for you. Contentment is not about being lazy, but contentment is about recognizing that everything you have and the things you possess, the things, whatever, whoever you are, God is responsible for blessing us in this way. So recognize that, then we also ask God to bless us more. So contentment begins with appreciating what you have, who you are, what you possess, and all that. Now, I like us to talk about blindness here. And in my personal reflection, I say there are three types of blindness: physical blindness, spiritual blindness, and social blindness. The physical blindness is the one that we see many times now. Those ones are obvious. There are people, I have someone who is close to me who is also blind and all that. So we see people who are blind. It's very common, it's very normal. They cannot distinguish, they cannot see, they cannot know, but they can feel. And most of them have very hyper, sensitivity. Their consciousness is very, 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 very high. That's physical blindness. So the blindness simply means there's an obstacle that stops you from visualizing, from seeing, from appropriating, from getting into something. So that's a blockade, that's an obstacle. That's the first one. The second one is the spiritual blindness. Spiritual blindness is a situation whereby someone does not recognize that God is the origin of every good thing that he or she may have received. Even our struggles, God can be responsible for our struggles and challenges, because our struggles and challenges, these are ways that God can also purify us and also lead us to recognize our consciousness or recognize our giftedness. Most of the crises we have, they are allowed to come to us to ignite and to enkindle our inherent potentials. So it is not wrong to even experience crisis, but every crisis is an opportunity for growth if only we can focus on Christ and recognize the crisis. So spiritual blindness is a situation whereby we don't recognize the good things that God is doing in our lives. We always pay more attention to the bad things that happen to us. Spiritual blindness is a situation whereby one does not acknowledge God. The person tries to put himself or herself first instead of putting God first. That's what we call spiritual blindness. It's a blindness that stops us from recognizing God as our Father, Jesus as our brother, Holy Spirit as our sanctifier, and all that, and even in the saints and the angels. The third type of blindness is what we call social blindness. This is a situation whereby someone does not recognize that he or she is gifted. And remember, our giftedness, our talents, these are not just for ourselves. It's also for common good. That's why I really talk about this as social blindness. It's a kind of blindness that someone does not see how gifted he or she is. This is the kind of blindness that leads people into envious life, because an envious person is a person who fails to recognize that he or she is gifted. Rather, the person pays more attention, gets jealous about the giftedness of another person. So, every one of us is gifted. Matthew chapter 25 tells us exactly the same, that there's no person that did not receive a gift from God. But the problem is that many of us do not develop our giftedness because we pay more attention to the giftedness of other people. So, we are all gifted, and as I usually share with you, our life is like a rainbow. The blue is beautiful individually, red is beautiful, green is beautiful, yellow is beautiful. They are all beautiful individually. But when they come together, they become more beautiful. Every human being is talented. Every human being is gifted. But are we paying more attention to recognizing how gifted we are? Or do we remain blind to the fact that, oh, I am gifted, oh, I am blessed, oh, I have been, God has given me this talent. This is a problem for many of us, that we fail to recognize our giftedness. It's a kind of social blindness. Another aspect of social blindness is when we fail to recognize that other people are also gifted. Sometimes this is a case of arrogance, this is a case of pride. We fail to also acknowledge and recognize that the next person is gifted, and it's an invitation for us to also listen to the opinions and suggestions of other people. We are not the best of the best. Other people are also the best. So it's good to recognize that as I am gifted, another person is also gifted. And when we understand that we are all gifted, we will be like the rainbow. When we get united, we will make our world, our families to become better. So once again, thank you very much for listening to this reflection. Remember that we are invited today to ask the Lord to bless us with the grace for appreciation. One thing that blindness does to us or against us is to rob us of the ability to appreciate God, to appreciate ourselves, and to appreciate other people. Thank you once again, and may God bless you.